Alright, hello everyone, my name is Space and I do this every year. That is, make a video. I make one video every year. No, I'm kidding. So, what I do is I have this series called Movie Recommendations where I, get this, recommend movies. What? Yeah, I know, right? So at the end of each year, I like to take a look back on these movies that I've recommended and maybe talk more about them, sort of give some more thoughts about them and try to avoid spoilers. So I'll make sure to avoid spoilers to my best of my ability, since some of these I haven't seen in literally almost a year. So here we go. And of course, I also like to talk about the movies that I talked about the year before, because I try to rewatch all of those in the next year. So this next year, in 2020, I'll be rewatching in 2021, I'll be rewatching the 2020 videos or movies. As you can see, it's not scripted. So here we go. So first off, we kicked off the year with The Farewell. Now this is a movie that was recommended to me, a recommendation within a recommendation. It was recommended to me by this YouTuber, Nathan Jones, who is awesome. He's a great YouTuber. I really enjoy his stuff. He makes videos about movies too. And he was talking about it in one of his videos. He didn't personally recommend it. He's like, hey, this guy's Space, right here. You watch this Farewell right now. He recommended it in a video. I was like, hey, I gotta check it out. And it was in my theater. I didn't see it though. I was like, oh, I could see this. I almost did, but I didn't. But then I bought it when it came out to DVD. I was like, yay! It's here at last, so I can finally check it out. And it was fantastic. It's a really cool mix of English and Mandarin. It's like, whoa, that's pretty cool. I didn't expect it to be this much Mandarin or this much English either. I thought it was gonna be one or the other, but it's both. That was really cool. And yeah, it's just such a great movie. I haven't seen it in like literally a year, almost a year. But it was such a great experience. I'm really glad that I was able to see it finally. And it's just such a it's a very emotional movie, I must say. It's like, ooh. And it's sort of talks about some Japanese, what am I saying? Some Chinese traditions, Japanese, what am I? Chinese traditions, which I thought was really interesting as well. Just this idea of whatever is going on in the movie that's happening. Anyways, so let's go ahead and move on to February. Oh, one of my favorite movies, one of my favorite Spielberg movies, one of the movies I think is underrated in my personal opinion. That I feel like it deserves more credit because it's it's Steven Spielberg. You usually think of Steven Spielberg, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, but Catch Me If You Can. Yes, it's very amazing. When I first saw this, I was like, oh my goodness, I just loved it so much. And I actually got this when it was on sale. In December, I don't know if it was in December. I think it was 2017 actually, or maybe 20. I don't even know. I know that it was during Christmas. There was a sale. I bought that and Sing Street. It had to have been 2017 then, I think, because I started this in 2018 with Sing Street, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. Sorry. So I bought it while it was on sale. I rented it. Yes, that's the word. I rented it, and I was like, oh, this is so good. I wish I had this. And then I found it at my used DVD store. It's like, there it is. I rewatched it again 3 times. It's just so good. Such a really interesting and intriguing story, and very well performed too by Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks, as well as all the other great actors that are involved in the movie. And it's just such a very fun, very stylized, and just super energetic, fun movie. I just said fun twice because it's that fun. And it goes by so fast. It's just so enjoyable. And definitely recommend it, especially if you're interested in just some great stuff, honestly. Just so good. And I actually saw my old high school was putting on a musical based on Catch Me If You Can. It was called Catch Me If You Can, the musical. Yep, that's right. And that was so good. They did such an amazing job. That was so much fun to watch. And I missed that, but at least we still have the movie, though. I can't rewatch that. Unless if I go back in time, which I might do that tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyways, so next up we have Shattered Glass, a movie that I did not know about until I knew about it, right? No, I didn't know about it until I saw a video probably recommending it to me. I was like, hey, pass on the knowledge. I'll buy it. And I got it. I don't even remember why or how I got it, but I think I got it off of Amazon or something. I think I had like an Amazon gift card. I was like, oh, Shattered Glass, Hayden Christensen. Let's do it. I've only seen, before that, I only had seen, losing my mind here. I only saw Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, and he was in an episode of Goosebumps. Those are all the things I've seen from Hayden Christensen. Then I saw this and Jumper, Jumper, which was pretty fun too. But Shattered Glass, like, ooh, this is so good. And it's like, hey, man, people that say Hayden Christensen can't act, man, right? Hey, Shattered Glass, dude. it's such an interesting story that I didn't even know about this guy named Stephen Glass, a real person. If you want to look it up, go ahead, feel free. But it might spoil the movie though. And it's such a good movie. It's such a I feel like also I'm gonna stop using this word in this video, but I feel like it's also an underrated movie because I hear nothing about this movie, and it's just one of those like hidden gems that is so good that I really enjoyed. And I really like the thumbnail I chose too, like that red that just looks cool. Anyways, I didn't make that, so anyways, so next up, we have Mother Was Brooklyn, a movie I was looking forward to when I saw the advertisements for it. I think last year, the trailers for it last year. I was like, "Oh, we gotta see that." We never got to see it in the movie theater. Sadly, we were going to, but we saw something else, and they're like, "Oh, we'll see Mother Was Brooklyn next week," and then it was gone. So I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess we're not seeing it in the movie theater." But my parents watched it one night. I was like, "Oh, that's cool." I really, I don't remember what I was doing. I was probably like talking to a friend or something. But I was like, oh man, I gotta watch that one time. And then one day, I think I was sick or I was just really tired or something. I know I probably wasn't tired because I really focused on the movie. And when I'm tired, I can't focus on movies too much. But I don't know. I just woke up one morning. I was like, oh, I watched Mother Was Brooklyn, and that was so much fun. It was such a very enjoyable movie. I'm a very big fan of detective movies, noir movies, and Edward Norton knocked out of the park. He's such a great writer and director. He didn't write the original book it's based off. Screenplay for it? If it is based on a book, I don't remember. I think it is, but no, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's an adaptation. But it was so good. Sadly, it didn't do super well, and I've seen some mixed reviews on it, but I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. The soundtrack really blended well with the movie, and it was such a unique movie that just really sticks with you. It's awesome. Very good. That is, of course, Mother Was Brooklyn. Next up, we have Battle Royale. I have a very strange history of this movie, and I think I already explained this in the video, but I'll explain it real quick again. So I bought this back. I think it was on sale, and I heard that Quentin Tarantino loved it. I was like, if Quentin Tarantino loves it, it's probably pretty solid. So I was like, oh, I got it right here. And I watched it. I tried to watch like the first like 10 minutes of it. I just couldn't get into it because it's like the English dub. I don't have the Japanese dub. I would love to get the original version and read the subtitles, but this is all they have on Google Movies. Google Movies, that's what it's called. I don't know. The YouTube, whatever, that thing. That's all they had, just the English dub, and it just felt so weird because it just felt so off because it didn't feel like the people in the movie were saying what they were saying. Like, it just felt like, it just felt so weird. It just, it just didn't meld with me. It's like it just felt like someone was speaking for them, which is true, so someone else was speaking for this character, but it just felt so unnatural. But I tried to watch it again, and I had the same problem. It's like I just can't get into it. I was like, I'm sorry, but I just can't do it. But then the third time I watched it, it took a second. It took like after the first few minutes, like all right, and then as soon as I just got used to it, it's like, this is great. This is really good, and honestly, I really want to rewatch it too. It's such a it's such a violent and bloody movie, and it's really great, and I really enjoyed it. I would love to see the Japanese version one day, but for now I'm going to stick with this. There's also a second one called Battle Royale 2 Requiem or whatever, which I've heard but it was free on something. I don't even remember. It's nothing. I don't know. It was free on some sort of platform. You can probably find it for free as well if you want to see the second one. But the first one is not free. I don't think it may be free somewhere. It's not stream service or I don't know. But anyways, Battle Royale was quite a great movie, and it has a lot of parallels to Hunger Games, but also does its own thing too. I feel like the two have some similarities and also have differences, enough differences to make them both unique. Now, I've pretty much broken my rule. I don't think that's going to be a rule anymore that I have to watch the movie in the month for the first time. I did that with Farewell, but I already broke it with Catch Me If You Can, and I broke it again with this movie right here, The Nice Guys, from 2016, a pretty recent movie that I saw the ads for it back when it was first premiering, when it was first coming out, and I was like, oh, this looks like so much fun, but I never saw it until a few years back. I don't even remember when it was. I think it was like 2 years ago or something. But it is so good. It's so funny and so well written, so smart. Just such an amazing buddy cop movie. Shane Black is a great director. Of course, he directed the newest Predator, which I've not seen, from 2019, I believe. He also directed Iron Man 3, which I must say, first when I saw it, I was like, it's pretty good, I like it. And then I was like, oh, dude, this is way better than I originally thought it was. I was just one of the guys who was like, oh, it's not comic book accurate. That's fine if you are, I don't, it's all good, If you want your movies to be comic book accurate, that's cool. But I really grew past it. I was like, you know what, it's fine. It's the MCU. It's not all comic book accurate. It's still great. So I really enjoy Iron Man 3. And he, of course, did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, another great movie that's in the same vein of this, sort of the buddy cop DOEO there of a mystery. And this one, oh, so good with the performances along with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe. Really, there's such a great chemistry there. That's so much fun. And just the way it's written is just so funny. There's so much very, very funny moments. It's very stylized too, and it just makes for such a fun time. It's such a, if I had to watch a movie just one night with some friends, it's a Friday night, whatever, it's right there. The Nice Guys, that's the one. So, it is just so good. Anyways, so moving on, we've got another movie that I haven't seen yet until this year. We're sticking to the rule a little bit here. We have Hero, and oh my goodness, with Jet Li. Whew, this is such a great movie. I really just thoroughly enjoyed it. It's got such a really cool style to it. Like the fighting is like very anti-gravity, it's like just very floaty and just great. And there's so many just like really cool stylistic stuff that goes on, and the story is just so interesting, so intriguing, and so well told too. It's just so good, man. I just really loved this movie. I thought it was great, and it's a movie that I really want to revisit soon. There's just so much energy and beauty within it. It just makes for such an enjoyable experience. Just so much fun. Next up, we have Safety Not Guaranteed, a movie I've never heard of ever until I saw it on Netflix. Like, what is this? Like some indie movie or something? It's got Aubrey Plaza in it. It's like, all right, I'll check it out. See what's happening here. And it's very unique. It's I don't know like really how to describe it without like saying too much about it, but it's just one of those movies that I just knew nothing about, and just going in I was like, what? I was like, I don't know what this is, but I was like, I'm just gonna do it, and I do not regret it whatsoever. I think it is quite an awesome movie, very underlooked as well. I'm not gonna say underrated, I just didn't know. But I think it's very underlooked, and I thought it was just such a wild ride, such a very interesting movie that is, if you're looking for something that you just really don't know anything about, you just want to see something and just be surprised, like, yeah, this is really surprising. It's a pretty surprising movie, and it's a fun time too, very enjoyable and entertaining, and yeah, just unique. So, next up we have a movie that I'm a little embarrassed I haven't seen yet until this year, but I finally saw it, so that's what counts, I guess. RoboCop, which of course I've heard a lot of great things about it, and I've, just one of those great action movies of the 80s, and I finally did it. I finally watched RoboCop. I still need to see Dredd from 2011, I think, as well as the original, which I've seen most of, I guess, with Sylvester Stallone. But is that 2011 or 2009? I don't know. It's one of those years. Something like that. Or maybe even 2013, I don't know. But anyways, RoboCop was it's so good. I feel like the great thing about it is, one, it's really violent. It's like it's freaking like insanely violent for its time. Well, I guess Scarface is pretty violent too. And it's quite violent. It's quite fun. Quite the fun and interesting ride. And the emotion too. Oh my goodness, it really packs such a punch with the emotion. There's a lot of emotion. Not to say that action movies aren't emotional, but this one is just like whew. It really just ties together a great story with just great action too, and some interesting characters as well, and a very interesting concept too. I thought it was just such a great movie that I definitely recommend seeing if you ever get the chance, or if you're ever willing to. So there it is, yeah, RoboCop. And we did it for a movie night one night. That was really fun. My parents and I would do movie nights every now and again, and that's what we watched, and it was great. Next up, a movie that my good friend Energetic Dre has been recommending to me for I don't even know how many years it's been a little bit, but I finally watched it, finally. And that is Chronicle. I don't know what really got me excited for it. Just hearing about it again, and just like, oh, dude, I keep on forgetting about that movie. Or I think I watched the trailer too. I think I watched like a part of the trailer. I was like, already sold. So it's a found footage movie, a superhero found footage. And I must say, I really like found footage videos. I know not everyone is a big fan of found footage, but I haven't seen Blair Witch Project. I think I should probably do that one day. But there's an episode of Supernatural that's found footage that people in the fan base don't seem to like that much. It's like, what? I've been rewatching Supernatural. I was like, this is really good. I really like this. I don't know. I can understand why people might not like it, but I was like, this is great. I like it. And I'd love to make some found footage one day, I think that'd be great. But this is such a cool concept. Found footage usually tends to stick to the side of more horror-y or sometimes science fiction with Project Almanac, produced by Michael Bay, which is pretty fun. I haven't seen it in a while, but we're talking about Chronicle here. So Chronicle, just this idea of a superhero found footage, and such a twist too. I don't want to reveal the twist, but there's a good twist in there, and it just really works so well. Just getting to know these characters, you feel like you're just in their life, just watching them do this thing, watching all this unfold, and it was just such a gripping movie that has really helped me. And honestly, just talking about it right now makes me want to rewatch it. Dang it! So it was just such a great, enjoyable experience, and I was really glad to finally have watched it. And thank you very much, Energetic Drake, for the recommendation. This movie, whoo, so good. All right. The last one, last and certainly not least, we have Snowden, which was recently added to Netflix, which is why I saw it. I was like, oh, hey, Oliver Stone, I like Oliver Stone, he's pretty great. He actually, I think he wrote Scarface. I was like, what? He wrote Scarface? As I was watching the De Palma documentary, which is pretty interesting. It's pretty fun. Of course, the director, Brian De Palma, Brian De Palma, who directed Scarface, Carrie, the Stephen King movie from the 70s, I think. He directed, of course, the first Mission Impossible, which is awesome, and he's directed some pretty sweet movies. But anyways, Snowden, directed by Oliver Stone, who also directed Platoon, Born on the 4th of July, some other great stuff. He directed this, and it was such a great movie. Joseph Gordon-Levitt did such a great job. He's one of my favorite actors, honestly. It's such a joy to watch, and I thought it was really interesting. It's such an interesting story and really told very well. It just felt like it just had that modern edge to it that I feel like the movie really needed, and it just worked so well. So if I had to just recommend one of these movies out of just this long list, ooh, I try to do this every year, but I feel like I fail every year. But I probably have to go with, I guess it really depends on what you're looking for, but alright, maybe just top three. I would probably have to go with Catch Me If You Can, The Nice Guys, and Chronicle. But if I had to choose just one, I'd probably lean towards Catch Me If You Can, but The Nice Guys is so close, and Chronicle is so close too. But all these are very different. Like there's very very different, a lot of differences in all of these. So it's just a mixed bag of like, oh, whatever you're looking for. You might find something here. I don't really recommend too much horror stuff, but I might try to do that in the future. But that was this year. Let's go ahead and dive into last year a little bit, sort of see if anything has changed here on my thoughts. So yeah, it's so much fun just talking about it. It's a very more free flowing, free flowing than the actual recommendation videos. So. I've got to say, so the first one I recommended was Moon, and it's such a great movie. But I got to say, watching it the first time is definitely a little different than watching it the second time. I mean, you already know what everything's going on, which is still really fun too. But I must say, like the first time watching was just such a such a mind-blowing thing, just discovering it. But the second time was really fun too, so I still really enjoy Moon, and it's definitely a movie. I'm not sure if I'll watch it every year, but I'll definitely rewatch it again. It's a few times at least. It's such a great movie, and Sam Rockwell is one of my favorites as well. He's so good. The Darjeeling Limited, I got to admit, it's not to roast or offend Wes Anderson, but I got to say, it's really good. I feel like it might be one of his more underrated movies, but I got to say, I do like some of the other ones a little more. But I must say, though, it is still really great. It's a great, fun experience to watch, and very Wes Anderson, I must say. And yeah, Darjeeling Limited. I feel like, yeah, it's one of his lesser-known movies, especially like... I don't know. It just feels like a movie that isn't quite as known. Like if you think of Wes Anderson, you're probably thinking of Fantastic Mr. Fox and The Grand Budapest Hotel, and maybe some of his older stuff like the Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, or whatever that movie is. It's a great movie. But yeah, Darjeeling Limited is really good. I really enjoyed it still, and it was fun rewatching it. It was I forgot some stuff, and yeah, it was good times. Charade, ooh, such a great movie. It's such a joy watching it each time that I just feel like the first time feels, watching it the second time feels as good as watching it the first time. It's just such a great movie, and it has such a Hitchcockian feel to it. Like it feels like, hey, Hitchcock made this movie, but he did not. And yeah, with Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn, such a great duo right there, and they're just getting into some sort of all sorts of fun antics, and the style of it is very nice too, very Hitchcockian, like I said. With Samurai, I've seen this movie, I think like probably 4 times now. For me, it's such an inspiration. I said this probably either in the video or in the recap. Not in the way like, hey, I want to be a hitman now. No, it's just like the style of it. It's just so good. It's just got such a really nice style. Like the music is so good. The cinematography is fantastic. The acting, so good, so good. I don't know French, but I wish I did for this movie. And yeah, it's just such a really just great movie that I feel like definitely deserves a spotlight on it because it's just so fantastic. Midnight in Paris is such a joy too. It's my favorite Woody Allen movie. It's the only Woody Allen movie I've seen though. But Oh, it's so good. It's such a just a fun and enjoyable movie that I just really just have such fun with. I feel like I meld with it so much because I really like the 20s as well, like the main character in the movie, and it's just such an interesting idea. That I don't really want to go too far into it, but it's just such a really just interesting and just yeah, perfect. Another movie that I just really adore is A Knight's Tale. It's honestly become like I feel like this and Midnight in Paris out of all of these have really become my favorites. And there's one other two at the end of this year. Oh, okay. There's actually a few that just really like there's all these are really just such great movies. But I feel like there's four in here that really stand out the most to me, and that honestly I'd probably consider adding on my favorite movies list. It's just so good. And A Night's Tale is one of them. It's just such a fun ride. It's very, it's got that rock and roll soundtrack to drive it forward, and it's got such great acting. And it's really sad, seeing Heath Ledger, and it's like, oh, he's just so good. I wish he had this chance to just continue acting and continue living, of course. But yeah, it's just such a fun ride. I just so much, just so such an enjoyable movie that I feel like it's one of those movies I could just watch anytime. It's just so much fun. I don't even know how I discovered this movie. Actually, I bought it in the Spacing Out vlogs, probably like the first movie in there or something. I don't even know why I bought it. It's like, oh, Heath Ledger, let's do it. I guess I was probably more interested in seeing more Heath Ledger movies. And it's funny because like three of my favorite movies, I would say, well, at least I'd probably put them on my favorite list. Have Heath Ledger in it. The Dark Knights, A Knight's Tale, and 10 Things I Hate About You. Whew. He's just so good. All right, so next up we have Twin Dragons. I rewatched this, I think a few months ago. It's such a fun movie too, with Jackie Chan and Jackie Chan. Sort of a very iconic thing that seems to happen a fair amount of times. Like I saw movie. I was looking on IMDb at Jean-Claude Van Damme's filmography, and I saw he did the same thing too. He's like, hey, a movie with me and me, It's sort of a common thing there. But it's just such a great movie. It has some great action. It's such a silly and fun time. It's just so enjoyable that if you're looking for something fun and light to watch, there it is. It's so much fun, and something with some great action too. Like Jackie Chan, just such a incredible performer. He just really he goes at it, man. He doesn't hold back. He's done some like crazy stuff that could have killed him, and he's still here. And yeah, I just really like Jackie Chan. I'm not sure what my favorite of his is. Probably, honestly, Police Story 2. I like the first one, but Police Story 2, ooh, man, so good. But this one is definitely up there as well. I haven't seen all of his movies, of course, but I've seen a fair amount. Oh, Rush Hour 2 Rush Hour as well. Not Rush Hour 2, which is also good too. I love the Rush Hour series, but those movies are great too. But anyways, Encino Man. So Encino Man is such a fun, goofy movie from the '90s, and it's just one of those movies that's just fun to watch, man. I don't know, it's just so fun, and I had a great time just watching it too. I feel like if it's a rainy day outside, just like man, just put this on for some fun. If you're down for some action with this movie, Brendan Fraser, Sean Astin. Pauly Shores, him. He's great. Just such a fun '90s movie. That's just feels like an iconic '90s movie, honestly. So yeah, Encino Man, just so goofy and so fun. And Booksmart, another movie that really stands out to me as honestly like out of the four favorites. Like I said, I have Midnight in Paris. Oh, I have five. Okay, Wolf Samurai, Midnight in Paris, A Knight's Tale, Booksmart. Wait, let's see. A Knight's Tale. That's four. Okay, so yeah, five. Booksmart is I've heard it called the girl version of Superbad, but I can see the parallels. Like there's definitely some similarities. It's sort of that same vibe, that same genre of teen movie. That sort of like last freedom fun party thing. That sort of movie. But I feel like it's just so unique, just the way the story is told and the way everything happens, all the characters and whatnot. It just feels so unique to Superbad that it just doesn't feel like just like, oh, this is just a Superbad ripoff. No, it feels like it's its own movie, like that. It feels like it has that similarity to Superbad, but it just stands out on its own. And it's just such a fun movie to watch. So I very much enjoy it. There's a lot of just fun and funny moments throughout the movie that I just really enjoyed. I think it's directed by Olivia Wilde, who's a great actress. I recently rewatched Tron Legacy 2 times this year. It's just so good. I haven't seen it in like years, and it was great rewatching it. And she's in there too, so yeah, awesome. Anyways, it's just such a great movie. Such a funny movie too. Oh yes, and emotional too. Okay, yes. So another movie we have is Abomination. I saw this last year in the theater. We were like the only ones in the theaters. Like, oh hey, that was cool. Nowadays it's not very uncommon. But anyways, yeah, just such a fun animated movie. It wasn't my, not to roast it or anything. It's not my personal favorite of last year. In terms of animated movies, what do you think came out last year? I don't know, but I feel like there's probably something that I'm missing that really stood out. Probably from Pixar, if I had to guess. But wait, 2019? No, okay, yeah. Anyways, so it's just such a cute and fun movie that, of course, also has emotion too. Like just really very emotional movie that I just very much enjoyed. I thought it was just such a great experience. I was blown away with it. I was like, wow, this is so good. So good. It's one of those movies that looking at it just looks like, not to once again not to roast any other movies, but just one of those movies. It's like, oh, it's just one of those fun family friendly movies. That's good. It's good, but it's not like anything that's like, oh, it's just monumental. But this one, honestly, it just blew me away with how good it was. It's like, wow, I didn't expect it to be just that good. Not, of course, to say once again not to roast any other movies. I don't even know if I said the title of the movie. Abominable. Abomination. Yes, abominable. Yes. Okay, so here we go. At Eternity's Gates is a very artsy movie, and I really like it. I think it's really well acted, of course, by Willem Dafoe himself, and Oscar Isaac is in there too. Whew, so good. But it just feels like a very artistic movie. Not to say that these other movies aren't artistic, but because they are. All these are art. But this feels like just like it's very focused on the arts. Of course, it's about Vincent Van Gogh, an artist. Wow, amazing. And it's a really interesting story, and just yeah, I'm not sure if to call it a slow burn movie would be the right word, but I feel like it might be right phrase word. I don't know if those are slow burn combined together, which is two separate, but it's a very interesting and fun movie. I feel like this is just me just going through all of these movies from last year. This is basically just the recommendations recap from last year, isn't it? I don't know, but I guess yeah, my thoughts still haven't changed on it. I feel like that one is definitely one that I still really enjoy too. It's not personally a movie that I would also watch every year, but I think it's a movie that I would definitely revisit a fair amount too in my lifetime. The last movie, remember when I said the top 5 that I just really just love so much? Amelie, the last one, is also on there that I feel like I could watch it a lot and not get bored of it, because I think it's just such a fun movie, and honestly, probably my favorite French movie. It's hard to choose between that and With Samurai. They're very, very, very different. Amelie is just very, I use this word so much, but it's so stylized, and it's just such a beauty and a joy to watch. It's so much fun. And man, I gotta rewatch this pretty soon too. Honestly, not gonna lie, but it's just such a joy, and it's become one of my favorite movies as well, just to watch. Such a good movie. Okay, so oh yeah, I already did that. So yeah, all right. So I think that's it. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you check out these videos, these movies, if you're down for it, of course. It's a lot of fun to be had. But anyways, I will see you all next time.